Well, hello, Flosstube friends, and welcome and greetings, soon-to-be Flosstube friends, current Flosstube acquaintances. I'm Carrie, the DNA Geek. If you're in the United States, this should be posting on Monday, so I hope that you are enjoying your Memorial Day, that you have had a safe and happy Memorial Day weekend. Welcome to summer! Yay! I've been just kind of chilling. Well, that's not true. Today has been the opposite of fun. But we'll try to save life updates for the end because as this is, since 2 weeks have passed since my last update, and a lot of things have gone on stitchy-wise, it's going to be a long one without the life updates. So strap on in and we'll go ahead and get going. First, you don't hear this very often, but I have FFOs for you. Not just one FFO, I have multiple FFOs, right? I didn't know I could do that either. So, background on this is one of the life things that I will probably talk a little bit more in detail about is that one of my very good friends' oldest daughters is graduating from high school, or has graduated from high school. And I've known these kids since they were like 8 and 5. And what does that say about how old I am that they're graduating high school and getting driver's licenses? And anyway, so I had to do some finishing because I had to make them a cross stitch. That's what I do for most of my young friends that I'm particularly close to that graduate, is make them their own stitch, usually something that they really like. So I had that done, and her open house party slash quote unquote, definitely not an actual party, she didn't want a party, I don't know, was today. I was unable to attend for reasons we'll get into in the life update, but I had to have her gift ready for today. So I did that, and while I was at the store getting materials to finish things, frames and hoops and miscellaneous, I got enough to do some other ones, and I had a friend who has given me a frame and asked me to frame one of her pieces, so I had a lot of framing. So yeah, I have some FFOs for you. The first one that I have, I actually do not have. Again, in the life updates, today I went out to lunch with a friend, among other things. Okay, brain farts, wow. This is really, this is really gonna be a long one because I can't think of what to say in addition to the fact that I have a lot to talk about. So anyway, I went out to lunch with a friend, and she had asked me to frame the cross stitch that I gave her during the Great Christmas Panic of 2019. So I also did that one. Now, if you are offended by curse words, I'd skip past the next few frames because I did take pictures of it before I gave it back to her. And here is the finished piece. And that pattern is by Stephanie Rohr, who also wrote Feminist Cross Stitch. So, yeah, that's the piece that I made for my friend in for Christmas of 2019. That's one of the ones that actually arrived before Christmas of 2019, but I didn't frame it because I didn't know how she wanted it done. So she gave it back to me, asked me to put it in, told me how she wanted it framed, and I did. I'm going to also show you the back of this one because this was my first time attempting the spirograph technique, and if you're in the Enablers Facebook group, you might be familiar with this one. This was by Julia Krause Waddell, and I hope I said your name right. But she came up with this finishing method, and she was kind enough to post a photo tutorial on the Enablers Facebook group. And also, I believe that Ford, Son of a Stitch, at Son of a Stitch Tube, has also done a video tutorial. And I will try to track that down and put it in the show description when I'm done, if I can actually find that. But when it's done right, it looks like a beautiful like string art piece or like a spirograph or something like that. Mine did not look like that. Here's what mine looked like. Yeah, it's bad. I didn't cut the fabric close enough to the hoop. I was so scared of running out of fabric that I left too much. Somewhere along the line in the third length of thread, I got off of my pattern, and so instead of having a nice space in the center and having the stuff on the outside, it actually crosses the center. Doesn't matter. She loved it. She thinks it's like really cute and my little artistic endeavor, and she was very happy with it, and it's going back to hang up at her cubicle at work. So yeah, there was my first FFO. Second FFO is the one for, well, there you are. I called her before I started the video. No, that's not for you. You're gonna come up and say hi? Preferably not on this side, so of course that's the side you're gonna come to. For those of you who are new here, this butt, do I have a face? Come here, hey, ding dong. Who is currently examining everything that we have on offer and making sure that it's up to speed, as a good co-host does. This is Lexi. She's my baby. She is a boxer pit bull mix. She just turned 7 last month. Right, yes, you're getting to be old. Officially a senior citizen. She will come up occasionally during filming and make herself comfortable. If I'm not comfortable, that's just a bonus. And then she will hang out and look cute and up the photogenicity of the entire endeavor here. Hi, yeah. Yeah, you're cute, right? Everybody knows it. You know it. That's why you get away with so much. I love her, but she's not very bright. But she's cuddly and she's soft, and that makes up for it. So, back to what I was saying. The gift for the graduation open house today. This was paw prints. You've seen me talk about this one if you've been with me any length of time. So here it is, finished. Very happy with how it turned out. I went back and forth on this one because this one, and this is one reason that I could have gotten one more FFO for this weekend, and I ended up not, because this I originally had slated to go in a 5x7 frame, because this would have fit in a 5x7 frame. But I think half of what makes this so beautiful is the fabric. This is 16 count Galaxy Opal Ada from Mystic Fabrics. And yeah, I think it really just, it makes it. And so I couldn't put it in a 5x7 and not have all of that beautiful fabric showing. So there is the gift for my dear friend. And tribute to her two pets, Rocket and Sunny. Their names are on the paw prints. And I really hope she likes it. The next thing that I finished was another of the Great Christmas Panic of 2019. This one was not done in time for Christmas. This was actually the last one to get done. It was presented sometime in early June of 2020, because that's why I call it the Great Christmas Panic. That's exactly how far it was back. But this was also one of my very first geeky stitches. It was my very first anime stitch. So this is Natsu. And I'm not thrilled with the way that Natsu turned out. He is not centered, but when I took off to try and center him on the board, this adhesive was coming off on the board. This particular mounting board has a really good adhesive, and he wasn't coming back up. So he gets to be like this. The other thing I don't like about this is I didn't pick this frame. My friend, whose it is, picked this frame, that was the point of not framing it, was so that she could get something that would go where she wanted it. But this glass is glued in. Normally when I frame, I don't frame with glass for a couple reasons. I feel like without a mat or something in there, it smushes the stitches. If there's any sort of moisture or anything, then leaving it in the glass lets mold and mildew grow. I just don't, if I've got something on the fabric, then it has to come out of the frame to pick it off. Just many reasons I don't like framing in glass. And like I said, this one was actually glued in, so I was not able to take the glass out. So it's probably going to be a little smushed. Fortunately, I didn't wash this one. This one was washed before I gave it to her. All I did was give it a quick press when I checked to make sure that no new staining had come up, because it's been stored away, wrapped up, since I gave it to her. Also, this is the first time I've ever had to frame in an oval, so I had to cut my mounting board with an X-Acto knife, and that was an adventure and a half, let me tell you. So yeah, this one was not that much fun. I'm not thrilled, 100% thrilled with the way it turned out, but I think it turned out pretty cool. I like it. So there is Natsu. Little fun thing about this one, this friend has said, not to me, but to a mutual friend, mentioned that when they have kids, they want to do a fairy tale nursery, fairy tale T-A-I-L, like with Natsu, not T-A-L-E. And so my plan is, if they decide to do that and this ends up hanging in the nursery, I'm going to make the corresponding happy to go with it for her baby shower. But that's a long way off because they are not ready to get pregnant yet and not planning on that yet. But it's in the future, I think, I hope. Another FFO from the Great Christmas Panic of 2019. This is the only one that hasn't been gifted yet because the last time I saw this friend was before Christmas of 2019. We were supposed to get together after Christmas in early 2020, in March of 2020, and what happened then? So I have had this the whole time. I hadn't framed it. I have now, but this is for my friend who was an English major in college, who absolutely loved Shakespeare, and who really needs to learn how to say this word. So this is, to quote Hamlet, Act 3, Scene 3, line 87, no. And here it is all finished up so he can put it in his office so that when people ask him, he can just point at it if he can't say the word. And then the last two are for me. One is probably going to go up at work, and then the other one is just going to hang around at Christmas. This is the one that's just going to hang around at Christmas. This is Stitching Book Club's A Christmas Carol Stitch Along from the end of last year. And here it is. Get in so you can closer so you can see a little bit of the work. I have shown this one on my Flosstube before. Finished on Christmas Day, appropriately enough. And then there it is in the whole frame. So what I might do is I might take this one to work and put it next to my little Charlie Brown tree that comes out right before Christmas every year. I don't know yet. Or I'll bring it, or I'll leave it here and bring it out at Christmas. But either way, I'm very happy with how it turned out. And I don't have much more to say about that one. And then the last one is going up at work. This was one of my Maynia starts last year. It was one of the ones I actually finished during Maynia. And it's kind of like one of my mottos. Screw lab safety. I want superpowers. I don't think the safety officer, blah, blah, blah. I don't think the safety officer is going to be thrilled with this. She might be amused. I don't know. But I like it. I've always said, because I'm such a klutz, there's got to be a reason, and I'm just one lab accident away from finding my true calling. So, yeah, this one's going to go up at work. Miss Pouty McPowderton is in the hall. I don't know why she's... Well, I do know why she's mad at me, and that goes into life update stuff. So, I think what I'll do next is I'll do whips, and then I'll go into haul, so that if you're just here for stitchy stuff and you really don't care to see what other people have gotten that's new, or if, like me, that is a bad way that you end up with a lot more patterns and such, that you can just kind of skip it and move on. So whips, the last 2 weeks have been quite productive for me. If you remember, it's still Maynia, and I have finished my starts. They were for the first half of the month. And then the second half of the month, my goal was just to continue to try and get some stitching in every day. And I had originally said at least 100 stitches a day, and I've 100 stitches a day. My stretch goal was to get 100 stitches a day on my big project, and then get 100 stitches a day on something else. And I have done that all but one day. Ugh, another brain freeze. I've done that all but one day for the rest of the month, and today is the 30th. So I only have to do it 2 more days, and I will have made it through the month of May. When you get into plans, you'll find out I'm going to continue doing that. But for now, I worked on 5 different projects, and I'm going to start in order probably of things I have the least to say versus things I have the most to say about. So yeah, we'll go ahead and jump right in. The first one that I worked on was Cinderella. And this one's really slow going, and I've mentioned this before, because it's linen, and which I'm not great with, but I'm getting better. And it's a lot of color changes. As you can see, all of those little flowers and stuff within there. There are areas where there's maybe... there are areas where there's just like a single stitch, and there's not another stitch of that color for a long ways. So the last time that I talked to you, I did mention this one, and this is where it was. And I didn't get a whole lot done on this one, maybe 300 more stitches. So this is where it is now. Moving a little bit closer. I was posting this one on Instagram. I don't think I can post it on Instagram any longer because I think it's fairly clear now what it is. You can see here is the back of her head, and here is her arm coming out into, here's where she's holding the ball gown. So it's starting to look like a Cinderella shape. So I'm not going to post this one on Instagram anymore. Again, this person doesn't necessarily know that they are getting something from me this Christmas, so they might not clue in that this is for them, but I don't want to take any chances because slip of the tongue is really common, and I might as well tell that story. You know, if you've watched any period of time, you saw Sebastian, because I just finished it a couple weeks ago. I love Sebastian. I was really excited about Sebastian. The person that Sebastian is for knows that they are getting a Christmas gift from me, and should they see it, they would know immediately that that was it. I'm sure that if I asked them what they were getting from me, they would say, oh, it's something Black Butler. But they don't know exactly what it is. And the finish is going to be the cool thing there. But, stupid idiot that I am, May 25th is International Geek Pride Day. It's also Towel Day, or Douglas Adams Day. It's also National Tap Dance Day, so it's like my day. But it was... So for my Instagram, I put together a collage of some of the geeky stitches I've worked on. So Natsu was on there, and I did a She-Ra for a friend, and there's a Night Vale quote on there, and a Carcassonne stitch, and like all kinds of like just geeky, nerdy stitches on this page. And without even thinking about it, I threw Sebastian in the collage. I made it all the way through from the time I started that stupid thing. Well, not quite. I posted it a couple times, but from the time it was recognizable until the time I finished, I made it all the way through without posting it on Instagram. What did I do earlier this week? So then I would say running, but I have arthritic knees and I don't run anywhere anymore. I went hobbling as fast as I could down the hall to their desk. And I was like, hey, have you been on Instagram today? And they're like, no, I haven't been on Instagram yet. I said, oh, good. If you see something from my crafting account, because they follow it, don't look at it. Please don't look at it. And they're like, okay. And they thought it was hilarious because that's just the sort of airheaded thing that I do, is hide something for weeks and weeks and weeks and then just put it up for everyone to see without thinking about it. So, yeah, that is why I am not going to post Cinderella, because I give away the game every time, and it's just going to be a matter of time before she finds out somehow that I am making her a Christmas gift, and then she would know that that was it, and boy, I'm babbly today. Half the time I can't find the words, and then half the time I find too many. I don't know what's going on. Yeah. I'd apologize, but it's me. I'd spend all of my time apologizing, so if you've been here a while, you know it. If you haven't, yeah, this is pretty normal. So that was Cinderella. The next one that I worked on is a new start, because I'm completely incapable of not starting something new. This is another one of my big projects, and I decided I really just wanted to get it started so that I could work on it when I wanted to. This one is not by any particular designer. I've mentioned before that I'm a fan of the anime and the manga Yona of the Dawn, and I thought it would be fun to... I have patterns from a number of different animes and cartoons and things that I follow. I thought it would be nice to add a Yona one to my collection the last time I watched the show through. Can't find one. Can't find one anywhere. So I tracked down a screenshot from one of my favorite scenes, and I put a conversion through PicStitch. And I developed a pattern for my own personal use. I don't plan on ever selling it or even giving it away because copyright, but I did develop it for my own personal use. Here is the mock-up that came through PicStitch. And this is also my first experience using 25 count Lugana 1/1. So this is, I think, 400 or 500 stitches. And it doesn't look like very much at all. And it's all in purples so far. So Yeah, I've just barely gotten this one started. But it's 140,000 stitches. Not quite as big as Bookworm or Deal Struck, but it's up there. And so I just wanted to get it started. And I can throw a few hundred stitches in on it when I think about it, or when it fits a magical stitches prompt or whatever. And I love, love, love that scene. Okay, so the next project that I started to work on was, since I finished Sebastian, I pulled down another one of the Christmas gifts. One down, 5 to go. 5 or 6. There's Cinderella, and Defying Gravity, and Disney, and Grimm's, and Sunflowers, and there's 6 left. 6 to go. So, since Tuesday is June, you coming back up? Come on. Since Tuesday is June, I have to finish one a month between now and December. Be careful with those. So yeah, I pulled down another Christmas gift so that I have 3 that I'm working on at any given time. And Wolf Down the Rabbit Hole, this is for you. I know we are both doing a variation on this project, and that is We Do Disney. And I have, hi, Crinkle Crinkle, yeah. This is We Do Disney. This was by Rocking Horse Cross Stitch, but the last several times I've looked on their website, I haven't been able to find it, so I think this was probably discontinued. But this was the original plan, was for it to be black on white, and you're probably not going to be able to read that. So it says, in this house, Ohana means family, and Hakuna Matata means no worries. We believe some people are worth melting for, and sometimes the smallest things take up the most room in your heart. We wish upon stars, believe in happily ever after, and tale as old as time. We know if you can dream it, you can do it. All it takes is faith, trust, and a little pixie dust. We believe laughter is timeless, imagination has no age, and dreams are forever. We will never grow up because in this house we do Disney. And what I planned to do with this one... Ow! Has anyone else ever done that? You got to take your Q-snap apart and you squeeze the skin on your arm into it and pinch it. It hurts. I hate it. I constantly have like little bruises across the inside of my arm from it. I guess I'm just a klutz. But I decided to do this. This is 16 Count Ada in Midnight Gray by, I think, Vichelt. I decided to do it on this and then do most of the lettering in B5200 so that it looked kind of like a chalkboard instead of the black on white. But then the other thing I decided to do was, for some of those movie quotes, I wanted to take certain words or phrases and put them in colors that were reminiscent of the movies. And this is one where I need an opinion. So... I probably need several opinions. Here is, oh boy, this needs a press. Here's where I am so far. Now, what happened was I originally started down here because this is centered down by Faith, Trust, and Pixie Dust. And then I started counting my way up so that I could start in the right-hand corner. So, few things about this one. The first one is, I think I have to frog these letters up here at the top, the in and the T, because like I said, the look I'm going for is chalkboard, and I think with Ohana and Hakuna Matata being directly below them, it's getting too colorful up here in this corner. So I think I want to frog those. Of course, that's my nice expensive Bradley's balloons from Threadworks. And do in this house in white, in B5200. My original plan was I was going to do it in the Bradley's balloons because that's what We Do Disney is going to be in at the bottom. And I thought it would be kind of a cool bookend. But now I think that I like it better in the white. And that is my first question for you. White or Bradley's balloons? Opinions, please. The next thing that I'm not too sure about is these blues are not showing up very well. So Family, which I did in the blue that was closest to the blue that Stitch is, and it doesn't show up very well at all. This color's a little bit, it's not true to life. So I did Ohana in the orange from Lilo's dress, and then the blue for Stitch. But the blue there, and then this E, which is part of R from Some People Are Worth Melting For. I don't feel like they show up very well. They're showing up decently well with the light, but just in regular day-to-day, I don't feel like they show up very well. And so I'm thinking of backstitching them like in gray etoile maybe, or blue, or whatever. So what do you think? Do they need to be backstitched? Should they be backstitched? I don't know. I don't know. I need some opinions, please. So that's where I am with this one. Now that I've worked my way to the top, I can just start working my way down. The next one that I worked on is I don't want to call it my focus piece because it's 100 stitches a day and then that's it. And I don't want to call it a priority because, like I said, it gets 100 stitches a day and then it's done and I move on to something else. And those are the things that I put in large amounts of stitching on. Hello. So I guess my Maynia piece, my remaining Maynia piece that is also going to be my piece for my June challenge. Maybe that's what I'll call it, my challenge piece. And that's Deal Struck. And again, this is my big boy. It's not the biggest piece I have. It is the biggest one I'm currently working on because Bookworm is in timeout because I'm mad at it. Well, I'm mad at me for the mistake that I made on it. So it's the biggest piece I'm currently working on is 202,400 stitches or something like that. Yeah, it's big. And so I had done the math and realized that even at 100 stitches a day, it's going to take me 5.5 years. So I'm going to try to do 100 stitches a day, as many days as I can, and aim to get it finished sometime in 2026. And it's depressing to even say that, but it's massive. So the last time I talked to you, it looked like this. And if the way that I'm working on this is it's roughly 40% 310. So over 78,000 stitches of this project are in 310. And the entire first page, with the exception of a little corner, is in 310. So I've been working on page 1, but what I do is I do a big long strand of black, and then I fill in a little bit of page 2, which is Sebastian's hand coming in over Ciel's face. And here's where I am right now. So this is coming in right at about 3% complete. I'm about halfway through the first page, a little bit more than halfway through the first page, because the first page is ending somewhere like right here. And I'm not sure exactly where. But so working my way through columns, I got all of this column done and most of this column done. So I have 3 columns left. Pretty much 4 done. And then yeah, I've been filling in and extending this shading. This is the shading along the edge of the jacket. and the edge of the hand. So it's browns and navies and bleeding into flesh tones. So this is the pinky of the hand that is reaching over, I guess, like this. So yeah, my goal is to be finished with page 1 by the middle of July and be fully started on page 2. I haven't decided exactly how I want to do this, but I want to keep alternating black and color even when I get done with page 1, because what I really don't want to happen is get to the end of this and still have like 10,000 stitches in nothing but black and have to get through 10,000 stitches of nothing but black to be done with the piece. So I want to try to continue alternating a color and black as long as it's feasible, as long as I can keep it in the same part of the Q-snap. But we've got a long ways to go. I think I'm at about not quite 6,000 stitches, so 196,000 to go. But hey, in the last couple weeks I've gotten in a good 2,000, so we just keep plugging along. And you'll probably see that in every Flosstube I do from now until 2026. So I hope that you like it. Sorry, I'm very thirsty today. And my friend took me to McAllister's. And I love their iced tea. And then the last one that I'm working on is Defying Gravity. I'm in the middle of a little bit of a challenge on this one. Here is the last place it was when you saw it 2 weeks ago. And as I was working on it over the past 2 weeks, I did quite a bit on this one. It was probably the one I got the most stitches in on. And I decided that I looked at it and I realized I was getting close to a page finish. And at the beginning of the long weekend, like Thursday night, I looked at it and I said, there's maybe 2,000 stitches here. I did 4,000 on Sebastian in one weekend. I've got a long weekend. I could do this. I could get the page finished. And I made myself a deal because I found 2 new stitch-alongs that I really want to work on. And I said I can't buy them until I do page finish on Defying Gravity. And ideally, I would like to do that page finish between now and Tuesday night, because my holiday weekend is extending into Tuesday because I'm taking the day off. And we'll get more into that in life updates. But so I am in the middle of a challenge of trying to get done, and I underestimated. It was more than 2,000 stitches. But to try to get page 3 of Defying Gravity finished. And again, here's where it was the last time you saw it. And here's where it is now. I have made some really good progress on it. Yeah. I don't know that I'm going to get it done this weekend, but I have the D left and then part of the O in down in the green, and then I just have to fill in. This is the bottom of the page, so I just have to fill in this square. I think I can do it. There are patterns at stake. I get to buy new patterns if I do it. I think I can do it. And then that will put me about 3,500 stitches away from completion. Goal is to have this one done by the end of July. Maybe the end of June. If this could be my June finish, that'd be awesome. This would be my June finish, and Cinderella would be my July finish. because the other 3 are a lot further behind. So yeah, so that is what I've worked on the last 2 weeks. For the amount of other things that were going on, I'd say I got quite a bit done. I was pleased with myself. And plans. Right now, I am kind of doing my self-imposed Defying Gravity challenge for the next 48 hours. The next 24 hours, Magical Stitches is having a challenge because it is the last day of the month. So before we start into June and start completely new challenges, they're having a challenge to see which team can get the most stitches done until midnight on the 31st. Yet again, oh my gosh. And I don't even have the excuse that I'm tired today. I just can't come up with words. The prompt is something that celebrates your family or home. And fortunately for me, Defying Gravity really does fit that bill because it reminds me a lot of my mother. We had a girls' weekend where we went to see Wicked together, and then the year after she died, I went to see Wicked again, and it happened to be on Mother's Day. So Wicked often makes me think of my mother, so that is how it connects to celebrating family, and so it'll fit in the prompt, and yay, go Team Titans. They had to put me on that team because then I always think Teen Titans, no, Team Titans. I have to be on the villain team too. I don't like that. I want to be a hero. Enough of my whining about Percy Jackson. So plans, Defying Gravity challenge this weekend. Ashley, the Stitching Penguin, on her Instagram a few days ago had posted that she was doing Embroidery.com's Summer Stitching Challenge and invited people to join her, and I have joined that. So in the month of June, my goal is to do at least 30 minutes of stitching every day. And I'm being held accountable to that by posting pictures, before and after pictures every day on Embroidery.com's website. I will post a link to that also if you're interested in learning more about that. I have heard people talking about June being a stitch-along, where I try to catch up on various stitch-alongs that you may be behind on. Yeah, I got those. I got lots of those. So I might try to throw a stitch-along in each week, pick one of the ones that I'm behind on, and throw that in. Particularly, I'd really like to work on Wonders of the Solar System and the Zodiac stitch-along. I'd like to start the Broadway stitch-along. The 2 new stitch-alongs that I am eyeing, and hopefully by the end of the weekend we'll be ordering those patterns. And then I have Dark Queen of the Seas. I have the Sense and Sensibility Stitching Book Club stitch-along. Little Women is starting this month. And I haven't even finished that one. I have Frankenstein stitch-along is not done yet from last year's Stitching Book Club. Avatar The Last Airbender stitch-along is not done from last year. Cloud's Factory There Is No Planet B from this year, and Grimm's Fairy Tales from last year. The Good Place stitch-along from Son of a Stitch. The Temperature stitch-along, oh my gosh, I'm months behind on the Temperature stitch-along. I'm still in January. That one's going to take forever to get caught up. So I'm thinking of throwing a stitch-along in there in addition, but I don't know yet. But my big things will be to work on Deal Struck, to continue working on Defying Gravity, to get 30 minutes of stitching in a day. And anything else that strikes my fancy. Because I am easily distracted by shiny things. NT. All right, haul. I've got a lot of this too. Most of it isn't terribly exciting. I took trips to Michael's and Joann's So I have finishing materials and Dollar Tree. So I have finishing, I have a frame, I have another mounting board. I don't know what I'll use those for. I have various sizes and colors of hoops. I got some loops and threads, like just a big pack of it to do the spirograph technique on the things I decide to hoop mount, because I don't want to use my good expensive DMC on that. So I got these variegated. I thought they looked fun. I'll probably practice that a little bit more as I go along, but I don't think I have another one that's the right size right now. The May pattern drop for Tiny Modernist Zodiac Stitch Along is here, and it is Gemini. I'm still on Aquarius and no frame. And I really like this one, so that's why I'm thinking maybe June I'll start throwing in a stitch along. And then the fun things. My crinkle incoming. My fabric of the month from Bestitch Me arrived. Again, it was a neutral, and yet again, I had a gray. Super excited about that. So this is Stonehenge. So it's a much darker gray than Through the Stones. It's even darker than Chinchilla, which was the Mystic Fabrics fabric of the month for May. It is not, or no, for April. Because May was the green one. It is not as dark as Mystic Fabrics Nothing, so I think it's in a good spot for me. And it's just a light bluey, it's pretty much a true gray. It's showing up more bluish here than I'm seeing. The breaks, the modeling are more bluish, but the gray itself is pretty much just a true gray. So, love it. Again, my love of gray as a neutral is well known. And then the other thing I got was, since I am working on We Do Disney and I'm working on Cinderella, and those have a lot of fabric that hangs outside the Q-snap, I got a couple more Grime Guards. And these are from Crab Shack Stitchery on Etsy. I got Planets/Galaxy. I really like that one. I like all the purples and dark blues and all that jazz. And I got Bright Poisonous Frogs. Again, I really like that. And then there was a little note that says, the extra Grime Guard is a gift. Enjoy and happy stitching. So she also sent me this one. And it's just blue and black, and I like it, and it's cute, and I'll use it. So I ordered 2 Grime Guards, and I got 3. Again, that was Crab Shack Stitchery on Etsy. I have ordered a few more things. I was talking last week about my troubles counting linen and wondering out loud if maybe counting pins would help. So I ordered some counting pins. I also ordered a Frogger because I've been meaning to get one of those. I also ordered my first project bag. Those things are all in preparation, en route. Will be here in the next few weeks. So that was my haul. All right. So if you're just here, stitchy stuff. Hope you have a great week. Bye. See you next time. I hope. Life stuff. Okay. My show was on the 23rd. It went great. It was a little bit of an adventure because when we got there, it was Okay, I'm in the United States, so these temperatures are in Fahrenheit. So if you're anywhere else in the world where they don't use Fahrenheit, yes, they were not high enough to actually like kill you, but that day was probably the hottest that we had had to date. It was very near if it didn't actually hit 90. And when we got to the auditorium, the director for our troupe pulled us all aside and said, okay, so we have no air conditioning in the auditorium or in the dressing rooms or on the stage. Drink lots of water and sorry. So that was miserable, especially since one of my costumes had a long sleeve denim jacket, and under the pants and over my tights I had to wear knee-high socks to keep the line to my tap shoes, to keep the black line all the way down. So that was a lot of fun. It was hot, it was miserable. I reapplied powder like 3 or 4 times. I usually don't reapply my powder. It was hot. It was a hot day. But we finished. And it went well, and I didn't hurt myself, and all that good stuff. Today was an adventure. Today, I woke up not feeling very well, and that was, as I said, I was supposed to go to the graduation party and give this, and I didn't feel well. And so I texted, and also it was the girl that's graduating. It's also her younger brother's 16th birthday tomorrow. So it was definitely not a graduation party, definitely not a birthday party. And I was supposed to go, and I didn't feel well, so I sent my regrets to the kiddos and slept most of the morning and part of the afternoon. Then when I got up, I decided that I would like some tea, and I've taken most of my good tea to work, so I was like, well, I'll go out and I'll pick up an iced tea, like McAllister's or even McDonald's or something. I'll go out and get an iced tea. And I opened the garage door and I noticed the dome light in my car is on. The battery is dead. It won't start. So, yeah, that was fun. And I'm thinking, no problem. I have one of those battery pack, external jump starters. And I'll just hook it up and I'll jump the car and it'll be fine. No, my ex got that. When we divided things up, I don't have that anymore. He has that. So, yeah, I don't have that. So I texted my friend, not really expecting her to help me, just so I would have someone to commiserate with. And I texted her, and she texted back, well, you know what we do about that? We go out to lunch, and then we come back and we jump your car. So she came and picked me up, and we went out to McAllister's, so I did finally get my tea. And then when we came back, we tried to jump my car. And we could not jump my car with her car. Part of it was when I opened it up, I get my oil changed, so I haven't been under the hood of the car in forever. When I opened it up, I could tell. I just looked over at the battery and I'm like, oh my gosh, there's so much corrosion and buildup here. This is not good. So yeah, her car was not capable of starting my car, jumping my car. So I had to call roadside assistance. And they came out and tested my battery, and they said, well, they got it jumped, and then they said, I can test it if you want. And I said, yes, please. So they tested it, and they're like, yeah, when you turn this car off, you're going to have to jump it to start it again. And I'm like, well, that's great. I don't have a remote starter. I don't even have jumper cables because I didn't realize I didn't have them. So that's going to be rectified, by the way. So yeah, not good. So I bought a new battery today for my car, and that was painful. So yeah, dance show today. Rest of the week. As I mentioned, I'm taking kind of an extended break. I've mentioned before that I have some mental health challenges. Not nearly as bad as a lot of people have, but I do have some issues with depression and mild anxiety. And since I've been back on days, I've been kind of in an overloaded state. I'm still trying to adjust my sleeping schedule, and I'm trying to adjust from being in a work situation where I had 3 to 5 people around me at all times to where I'm on a floor with 50 individuals, and it's just a lot louder, and it's just a lot busier, and I'm having a hard time. So I decided I'm going to take a mental health break. Since we already have Monday off, I'm going to take Tuesday and possibly Wednesday. I do have a presentation I have to give Thursday, so I will work Thursday no matter what. But I might even take Friday. I might just take the whole week and try to recharge and focus myself. So yeah, that's kind of where I'm at. That's why I'm hoping that I can get Defying Gravity done and get moved on in like a nice orderly fashion. And you can probably tell by the number of brain farts that I have cut out of this video that I'm kind of struggling a little bit with brain things right now. But it'll get better. I know it will. I just need to, self-care needs to be a priority right now. So I'm going to make it one. So that's really my life update. It's been kind of a boring couple weeks for as much as I didn't have time to film a video, because it was mostly just work and dance. And that's it. Reading, watching, listening to. I finished The Hunting Party by Lucy Foley. It was good. I was a little bit disappointed. I figured out the twist a little bit earlier than I would have liked to. I think that they were kind of heavy-handed with the hints there. And they were easy to pick up on. But it was a really good book, and there was a lot going on. And one of the things I loved, I listened to the audiobook. One of the things I loved is that the story is told from the perspective of 5 different people. And they had a different person reading each of the 5 people. So I really liked that it wasn't just a distinct, it was a unique individual reading. It wasn't just someone using a distinct voice or a distinct character. So I finished that one. I have finished all of the volumes that my library has of Black Butler through volume 28. I'm in the middle of the very exciting arc, and my library has no more. They don't even have any more on order. I don't need to buy it, because if I buy volume 29, I will need to go back and buy volume 1 through 28. I don't need to. So I'm looking for a new manga. I haven't really been watching a lot of stuff. I'm 2 weeks behind on Flosstube. That's another thing that I'm hoping to do over the next couple days while I put on Flosstube. I am currently a few hours away from finishing The Enchantress, which is the last book in the series, The Secrets of the Immortal Nicholas Flamel by Michael Scott. It's pretty decent. I've talked about this one before. It's uneven. There are periods that I struggle with, and there are periods where the action is very, it holds my attention a lot better. So, yeah, I'm almost done with that one, and then I will be done with the series. Starting on Tuesday, I need to start reading The Last Olympian for Magical Stitches. And then beyond that, I don't know what I'm going to do. I'll need to start reading Little Women for Stitching Book Club. And then I have a number of holds at the library, and it'll just be a matter of what comes in first. So, after all that, that's all I have this week. All I have this week. I already know this video is pushing an hour. But yeah, that's finally it. I guess maybe that's the better term. That's finally it. I say it's pushing an hour. It's pushing an hour with all the ums and uhs and brain farts. Or it's an hour and 2 minutes with all of the stuff that I am going to be cutting out. So hopefully it won't be that long by the time that it gets to you. I should be back on my weekly posting schedule again for the time being. And that's about it. So anyway, I hope that everybody has a great week. Again, if you're in the United States, I hope that you have a safe and happy Memorial Day. I hope that you take time to think on what Memorial Day is really about. It's not just about barbecues, but have a great week. Have a great weekend. Have everybody stay safe, stay healthy, and we will see you next time. Bye.